Yo mate, what up? Welcome to another lawn tip vid. Okay, so an exciting one today. We're gonna be trying out a new cylinder mower from Jason at Old Time Parts. I'll show you guys that in a minute. Just want to show you the Kikuyu quickly, talk about a couple of things that are going on. It's looking good after the fert. As I said to you guys, the lawn did scalp last time I used the 0-10 on it. Now, someone made a comment in, I think it was last week's video, about the tire pressure being off probably on one side, which is why we're scalping. Should have thought of that. 100% it was way out on one side. It was actually a little bit flat. So there's a bit of a hole in one of the tires. So that's why the lawn's got a little bit of scalping across it. It's still coming back. So that was scalped before I fertilized. So I fertilized a week and a half ago now, getting close to 2 weeks. Color is looking really, really good. And it's just got like a bit of bit of a sustained growth as well. So it's looking nice. Once those scalp patches are skedaddled, this is gonna look absolutely pure. Now on the edges just over here, you can see that our glyphosate, or that wipeout bio, worked really, really well. It's killed off all that Kikuyu. So that was also 2 weeks ago, a week and a half, whenever it was that I did it. And look at this, man. The old bit of cardboard worked well. I didn't even get the lawn. All coming through here. Obviously you get some stuff sneak through, like that. Bada bim, bada booma. But in general, it's looking pretty good. And yes, I did do the edges. Keep getting comments. You don't edge very much, man. I edge once a week at least, but the Kikuyu just grows like crazy. Now, a little bit of an oopsie on my part. I want to show you guys down here as well. Stupid mistake. Have a look at that. Can you see that? So, guess what that is? No, it's not grubs, it's not fungus, it's not anything like that. That is some of that wipeout bio. So when I was doing the paths around here, obviously I got a little bit distracted when I came up along this little driveway section just here, and I hung the boom out a little bit too wide onto the Kikuyu, which sucks because you can see up on this end I basically didn't do it, and I've obviously drifted across and broken across that way. And it definitely wasn't the wind, because there was no wind at that point when I was doing it. So it'll be interesting to see how this turns out and how this comes back over the next couple of weeks. Now, if I want to do it to any grass type, it probably would be Kikuyu or some cooch. That's what I'd be doing it to. So we'll see how that comes back. We might have to do some plugging there. Just gonna keep the water up to it at the moment though. Probably gonna put out some of my liquid seaweed as well, which is some survival, which I'm gonna start using in the next couple of videos. Yeah, that was just a bit of a silly mistake on my behalf. But apart from that, the lawn, the old lawny lawn is looking not too bad at all. So as you can see, the old glyphosate's worked really well around the garden bed here. Now this section just here, I put some down a week prior to this section just here, so this has still got a little bit to die off. Now this stuff here is all wireweed, which sometimes takes a little bit longer to die off than your grassy weeds and a couple of other weeds as well. So that there is some wireweed. So much of that everywhere. It's making a mess of the car park, but it will die off. Definitely will die off. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Because it's only been a week since I put it down, and the temps are up a bit warmer now, so we should see this die out in the next couple of days really, really well. Right, so check this out. Here is the mower here from Jason at Old Time Parts. Check this bad boy out. Aussie made mower, as you can see, made in Australia. Nice Honda engine on it. That's what we love to see. Bit of a beast, and this thing is heavy, if you can't tell just by looking at it. She has got some weight to it. Schnitty's barking at something. What are you doing, bro? What's happening? Schnitty, come here. Oh, he's choking on something. Anyway, this is a MEY mower, as you can see. I think that's how you pronounce it. We'll find out if I get corrected. But we're just gonna give this a test today on the Kikuyu. This is just a loan mower, so I'm just trying it out, giving it a run for its money for Jason, just to see what I think of it. I'll let you guys know today. So we'll adjust the height of cut. Never used this before, this will be the first time using it, and we'll just have a play with it. So it looks like our height adjuster is here. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So On the side here as well, I don't know how well you guys can see this, but it's actually got height of cut measurement on the side there as well. So I'm guessing you adjust this arm just here, whatever you want to call it, the bar, just there, and then it adjusts your front roller, sorry. And it's only a one side height adjustment, which is fine if it doesn't get out of whack. So I've got my AccuGauge here. We'll see what height it's currently set at, and we'll see if it matches up to that height of cut on the side there as well. So it's currently sitting at 14.5 mil. And it says on the side, it says about 15 mil there, so it's pretty accurate. I mean, if you want to get precise, obviously you got to use something like this. So we're going to bring this up to about, in all honesty, probably about 20 mil. So if I've adjusted that correctly, it should be around 22 mil. 22 mil. Okay, so that's pretty much bang on 20 mil. Okay, it's pretty much bang on 20 mil, which is what I said I wanted. Just a little bit optimistic with the kike out the front because I don't want to scalp it, because this is a heavy mower, so it's going to be a true 20 mil. We might bump it up to 25 just to be safe, and we can always adjust from there. Okay, we're sitting about 24 mil now, just a little bit under, so I think we'll test it at that. About 24 mil. And let's go give it a crack. Tell you what, just from that quick use, really easy to use and maneuver, even though this thing is heavy. I'm actually pretty impressed with that. I was expecting it to be hard to maneuver because it's so big and chunky. Like an old wicket mower or something like that, where you have to engage the clutch and then you have to engage the drive and everything like that as well. So actually really intuitive and really close together as well, so you don't have to move your hands around too much. And once you're behind it, the weight isn't too crazy. I do like the fact that you can do your height adjustment without any tools. Probably would prefer if it had two height adjusters, just because I like to adjust it across the board like that individually. Just because if something's out of whack with the cylinder or something like that, it's just, I mean, with the roller, sorry, it's hard to get it perfect. Like even when I measured it with the AccuGauge there, it was probably it's like 0.2 of a mil out or something like that, which is basically nothing. And you won't notice on long cut turf, but sometimes we like to be a bit OCD with it all. But apart from that, pretty solid looking mower. But we have to give it a test before we give it a real run for its money. But as I said, it feels quite intuitive. So if we come up behind it, we've got our throttle here, right where your hand sits, which is beautiful. You can adjust that very easily. So this is our drive here as well, right here. So that engages our drive there when it drops down. So it'll start moving once that's down. Pull that up and it does stop you on top of that, and it also allows you to pull it around freely, whereas if it's locked down there like that, you can't obviously move it. Becomes a bit of a problem. And then obviously to engage our cylinder, that's what it is there. So that's our clutch there for that. Nice looking mower. I love that it's made in Australia, but anyway, let's give it a mow. Let's see if I'm taking off too much at 23 mil, because I have brought my height cut up just to get this Kikuyu repairing a bit, because I was bringing it down, but I kept cutting into the sand too much. So I did bring the height cut up a little bit, just to really help it repair. Now it's completely filled in now, apart from that Roundup spray we got down there. But anyway, let's just mow. Now we are scalping a smidge, only a tiny bit, because we're cutting off a little bit too much. I'd say we're cutting off about 7 or 8 mil, just enough for it to slightly scalp, which, tell you what, I'm not too stressed about it. You can't really even see it, to be honest. It's just a little bit, it just digs in a tiny bit, as you can see. Maybe you can see it, just a tiny bit on that side there, because we are on a down slope. Yeah, let's keep going. does not like going on an angle, does it? Oh dear. The reason this is cutting out is because this slope is so intense. And I'm guessing that where the fuel injection is on the other side, and then obviously when we get in a slope like that. Now that is a ridiculous slope. Like generally you wouldn't use a cylinder mower on a slope like that because it is just absolutely intense. I wish I could describe to you how much of a slope that is, but that's legit. Like we've got 90. Like it's legit nearly a 45-degree angle. Like it's ridiculous. The mower is nearly tipping. And it's cutting out, but it's only when you go, so when you have the mower leaning to the left hand side, it tends to cut out like that. So I think I'm yelling because I have my AirPods on. So if you had a really slopey block with this mower, you've got to be careful because it will cut out on that side. Now if I tried up and down just a minute ago, wasn't an issue at all. It's just when I get on that side, when the left hand side is lower, it actually cuts out. So we'll go straight up and down probably on the other side to fix that, because it's just, actually the other side's not as sloped either, so we should probably be fine on the other side. It's just here there's a sudden drop off to the front of the lawn. Mate, it actually really cut really well. Scalped a bit, as I said. It probably did cut a little bit low because this mower is so heavy, so it's going to be a true 23mm instead of having something that floats on top a little bit more. So I've lost a bit of colour, unfortunately. That's just what's going to happen when you take too much leaf off in one hit, which in all honesty is not a bad thing. Next cut I do, I'll just mow it a little bit taller, probably up at that 25mm instead of that 23.5mm, 24mm that I was mowing at, and we'll find the colour will come back nicely if we mow a little bit taller. As I've said in previous videos, if you want to bring your height to cut lower, scalp it, make it look ugly, like 3-4mm below. You can get away with 1 or 2mm, but always better to go a bit more if you can. And then bring your height to cut up for the next couple of mows, and you'll find your colour will come back so much better. Because as you can see, yeah, it has lost a bit of colour. But anyway, not a bad cut. It does look so much tidier now, even though it is slightly scalped, so much tidier. Alright, so as I said, it is scalping a little bit because that mower is so heavy, so it's going to drop down to the crown a little bit more, which means it's more of a true, I'm puffed, man, that slope is a big slope. It's more of a true height cut on it. But if you have a look at it, lawn is still looking good. It's actually a little bit dry, I've just realised after cutting it as well, dry and scalped, because we haven't had rain, even though we're in La Nina. Haven't had rain in 2 weeks, so everything's stressing a bit. But it definitely looks very tidy. Very tidy. We've just lost some colour because we've cut a little bit too much off. And it is a little bit dry as well. But in all honesty, it's still not looking too bad. I'm not minding the Kikuyu. It's just you need to be more on top of this stuff. You need to mow more regularly. I'm finding than the ryegrass. I mean, when I was on the golf course, we used to mow nearly every day, so you're sort of always out there. But at the moment, I'm not mowing as much as I should be, and you can see the difference. Now that's my fault. Should be mowing more often, so I think I'm just going to leave a dedicated mower up near the house under some cover, and just so it's just easy to bring it in and out instead of going all the way to the shed and bringing it back down. The mower is good, but I'll tell you what, it is heavy. It is heavy because this is so sloped just here. Very sloped. Generally, if you had a mower like this, you wouldn't be using it on a crazy slope like this. Sideways was fine. It's just as soon as I started going up and down, I'd try to get back up, turn it around, and try to stop it from going down the hill. It was just a little bit hard because it is a heavy sucker. But I'd rather it heavy than light. I'd rather deal with that and have a true cut than have a light mower. Sorry, the wind is really picking up today. It's going absolutely crazy. Well, all in all, this mower, I am impressed with it. Only thing is the slope thing, but again, these mowers are not designed for those sorts of slopes, so it sort of makes sense. They're big, heavy units. They're actually originally designed for like cricket wickets, bowling greens, those sort of areas like that. So it's always going to be sort of flat surface. And my block here is the extreme. I mean, you wouldn't even, it's almost at the point where you wouldn't put a cylinder mower on it anyway, just because it is so steep down there. Like I've always struggled on that section just there with the Toro. And when I tried the Pro Tier as well, when I was using it as a scarifier, like it's just such a crazy slope, man, that the mowers just tend to pull you along, and they're hard to get across there because it is such a big slope. But hey, that's sort of what you got to deal with when you got a block like that. And I'd still use this. You just figure out a different way to mow, obviously. If I had this one in my arsenal, you'd probably just go around in circles, or you just go up and down to prevent that mower cutting out when you get on that area. But apart from that, solid bit of kit. Really like how the height adjuster works. The controls, like everything's so close to you with the clutches. Good size catcher. Cuts really clean as well. Like that is one thing I will say is very nice cut on it. Tell you what, the lawn doesn't actually look that bad now that I'm looking at it. It doesn't actually look that scalped. Still got quite a bit of color. It still looks pretty good. I think I'm still a bit, I want it to be perfect, you know what I mean? So I just need and to get to that point, basically what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to start mowing regularly. Like, in all honesty, I'm gonna have to start mowing like 2 to 3 times a week. At the moment, I'm mowing once a week, which just isn't cutting it. Get it? And I probably need to get some Primo down as well. Fertilizer is doing a really good job. Obviously, we've got no bare patches now, and it's nice and lush and thick, and it's getting some good color. But I just need to keep on top of that mowing to retain nice color after I cut. And that Primo is just going to help us keep on top of that as well. So something I'm going to have to put down probably tomorrow. I won't shoot a video on it. I'm just going to get out and do it so I actually get it done. And yeah, that's really about it. Thanks again, Jason, for sending me that mower. Really good mower, good weight to it. The only downside, as I said, my block is so slopey, it is a bit of a struggle, but it was the same with my Toro and the Pro Tier as well. I think something like my Rover is going to be the go, or the Swarmman or something, for this area just here, where it's just a little bit lighter, a little bit easier to maneuver on that crazy slope. But anyway, thanks guys so much for watching, really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you guys in the next vid. Also, you might have noticed, shout out to Simon for this shirt. Simon from MEY Cylinders, go check him out on Facebook or something like that. Appreciate the shirt, man, and the support, legend.